Well, hi again, you guys. Welcome to another edition of Curtis Collects Vinyl Records. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. It's been a number of years that I've been making these episodes. I've been having a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoy them. But I really haven't taken any time to really go through the Christmas record collection. And, you know, I keep my records in these milk crates. I don't think it's the best way to store them. I think it's okay, but my Christmas record collection recently doubled. I now have maybe 2.5 full crates, so that could be 180 or so records. My good friend Radio Dave gave me a batch, and they're great. But I wanted to talk about, for this episode, which is very near and dear to me, most of these records are going to be from my dad's collection that I heard growing up on Christmas morning. And to me, Christmas morning was all about seeing the tree, and there were presents underneath. Not tons of presents, just kind of enough to, you know, make a mess and unwrap them and have fun. But the part of Christmas to me was the tradition of my dad playing his vinyl records that from his Christmas record collection, and I own that now. He lived to be 95, and I have that. We'll go through those records, and then at about the middle of the day, we'd walk across the street to Mrs. McCabe's house, and she'd have an open house, and it literally was an open house. Everyone was invited, but there were no formal invitations. Her door was, you knocked on the door, and you were greeted, and you were promptly given a little miniature porcelain mug of glug or glag. It's that mulled-spiced wine that I became very fond of. And so that, to me, was pretty much Christmas Day. And then later in the day, my aunt and uncle and their family would come over for turkey. But let's talk about the music. So this was not one of my dad's records, but I don't know what he would think about it. It's the Duke Ellington Orchestra, Take the Holiday Train. So we're going to play a song from the early 70s. This was recorded right after Duke Ellington passed away, and his son Mercer took the Duke Ellington Orchestra down to Bermuda to fulfill a concert commitment, and they recorded a series of 10 Christmas songs. So we're going to play that. But before we do, let's go through these records. I hope I can keep it together while I do that, because these are most of my dad's records. This one isn't one of them, but I know he would enjoy this. I could not figure out always why he would play Bach on Christmas morning, and it turns out, you know, Bach was like he's a church organist and prolific. Wrote, you know, all that wonderful music, and so much of this church music that Bach wrote, to me, is very, very much a part of the Christmas tradition. So great. I loved playing this just a few minutes ago while I was getting ready, and I didn't think that was the right vibe, so we're going to play something from that. But this is another one. This is a condensed version. This always came out. This is a one-disc version of Handel's Messiah by the New York Philharmonic, and the great genius of Leonard Bernstein, conductor, and all the greats. And I really like this version of it because it was sort of that 45-minute best of. I think it's like 3.5 hours if you go, you know, top to bottom, listening to the entire Handel's Messiah. But this is sort of the highlights version. This is a record that I just chuckle when I see it. It's this textured, just blank record cover, and on here is a piece of Christmas wrapping paper that he taped on here to indicate it's a Christmas record. I have no idea what it is. And what is this? Christmas Hymns. Oh my God. On RCA Victor, long play. The Christmas hymns on this that my dad so enjoyed. Joy to the World. It came upon a midnight clear. I wonder who is... this is sung by the Robert Shaw Chorale and Robert Shaw conductor. So he really loved that. Just love that Christmas wrapping paper. All right, now this is the one that really, you know, brought down the house. I don't think many people, he would force us to listen to it. My mom was probably cleaning dishes up after the Swedish pancakes, and he would invariably put on Dylan Thomas reading A Child's Christmas in Wales over at the Prothero House. and it really brought the entire Christmas vibe. I was too young to appreciate it at the time, but all I knew was just such a downer. The voice, the cadence, it just dragged on and on and on, and we were ready to play other music and start opening more presents, but here it is. And of course, Under Milkwood. Wow. And here it is. Then we got to, when my aunt and uncle came over, we played this. This was terrific. Here he is, Yogi Jorgensen. We were absolutely laughing hysterically to, of course, Yes Go Nuts at Christmas and Jingle Bells. Classics. And then we would get into my dad's heritage here, the popular Swedish dances. So this was not his record, but I found it, and neither was this one. But this is really interesting because here it is. This is the original. I have two versions of this. And this would be played all morning long on Christmas morning. And we would hear these wonderful Christmas chants from Sweden, and it was just so festive, and there'd be... I almost thought about playing it, but you can find that. This was not one of his records, but I put it in with the stack. He loved Ray Charles. I think this might have been in his stack. I think that he had this at some point. Everybody did. Johnny Mathis. I'm adding this to this small collection. This is actually a record that I added. I don't know if he would have cared for Kenny Burrell. I certainly do. And then this one always came out. This great organist. Here it is. Virgil Fox. We played this very often and enjoyed it. And then a week later, they'd go over to the neighbor's house, and he'd bring this along. So let's play this Duke Ellington song, first track, first side, and you'll know it when we hear it. And it's an interesting arrangement. like that. That is an interesting arrangement. I think that qualifies. There's tons of Christmas music. I'll go with that. Directed by Mercer Ellington. Wow. I think he'd have gone for that. So this was a special Christmas edition of Curtis Collects Vinyl Records. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I've got tons of Christmas records. I'm going to do a couple of more of these episodes. So if you see me wearing the same thing, that's because it's December 23rd on or 22nd on December of 2015. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys back here again soon.